So here we are again, and I'm hearing rumors floating down from below. People telling me about things that lurk in the dark, underneath Hive cities along with mutants and other outcasts. Some kind of gene cults. I'm telling you, that shouldn't be possible. You know why? Because the Imperium has it covered. You just go down to your local mart and requisition yourself a can of Raid, and you be okay. Unless Genestealers happen to actually be there, in which case, you're all posthumously screwed. Ladies and gentlemen, just finished up these Genestealers up to a point where I feel comfortable putting them on the table. It's going to be a little bit more highlighting and all that kind of stuff, mostly because they have so much less carapace to show, and I think the final results is different enough to be able to pick out the unit just by head and taking one quick look, rather than making it feel like a large mass. Still, I could be picking at these all day and get nowhere. Sometimes you just need to know when to end up calling it and say, I need to move on to the next project. And that's what these are. They're at the point where all they need to do, like everything else in this series so far, they need to be based, and once that's it, good to go, well, they're good to be played. Now, I made earlier mention that I've only gotten these things into combat 5 times. I've also made the statement that as opposed to termagants, which I use as a tar pit, these guys turn it into a mosh pit. So let me explain. I can't remember how the rolls were going, but I'm gonna guess I was rolling well. Because back when I first got these guys, one of my younger opponents loved his Khorne Berserkers. Now, I've only known about Khorne Berserkers through reputation up to this point, so I was told, keep them the hell away from everything, shoot them while you can, pop the rhino, do what you need to do, but just don't let it slam into something, because they just shoot through infantry like nobody's business. I understood this. On the other hand, well, let's just say my tank busting options were limited to, well, effectively either a Hive Tyrant or a Carnifex with a Venom Cannon. Cause the Venom Cannon hit to make it immobile, and have the Carnifex just kick it over like a bucket. By the way, another reason I absolutely love Carnifexes, but that's another video. So, when they end up busting out, he figures rather than charge them up against this behemoth of, well, at the time I had it set up for strength 10, so, it's just size difference was somewhat understandable. However, I misplaced, and he ended up deciding to charge my unit of Genestealers. I honestly thought he was just going to end up going for the Carnifex, and that's what I was hoping for. But when I realized he charged my Stealers, no, please don't. I left them in open ground, and oh wait, you're not going to shoot bolters into them. You're not. So he decides to charge in because Khorne, blood for the blood god. To which I'm gonna make a guess here and think that there was 8 left after the Rhino decided to kick the bucket. More importantly, that the Carnifex kicked the bucket over. But he charges in, and I'm thinking these Genestealers are screwed. Absolutely screwed. Goes to down the line of initiative, and I realize, I strike first. Then I roll. My opponent has this look on his face like something horrible has happened, and something did. It's the first time I really understood the term rending. So, you can imagine on how many hit there were when you leave the combat with, well, suffice it to say, after armor saves are all said and done, he has 2 berserkers to decide to swing back with. It was at that point I understood a significant threat that was the Genestealer. And from that point onward, it was business as usual. Like I said, this squad has a tendency to die horrifically. Now, one of the things that I never did was pick up more of them. I think it's mostly on the fact that it's point cost. I mean, if I start bringing a unit of 20, then all of a sudden it feels like a massive point sink that is just begging to be shot at. And I almost feel like these guys could do better as 2 squads of 6 than 1 squad of 12. But again, I gotta have my big numbers, so these guys are usually running in a squad of 10 to 12. I also remember the time they absolutely failed. Time and time and time and time. Again and again and again. Now, that's no knock on Genestealers. Fact of the matter is I honestly believe that despite the fact that I keep hearing people moan about them not being worth their cost anymore, almost everybody's reaction to them is the same. Oh god, Genestealers! Coming in, all it takes is for them to infest 1 person, gets off planet, and now we got a whole new problem. Arguably here, before the Tyranids actually invaded, a little bit of fluff you can play around with that. Still, there's got to be a reason why they're your #1 bad guy in Space Hulk. And you also got to remember that these things eat Terminators. Cost efficiency is amazing when they end up going up against the right opponent. The hardest part is finding that one person who decided to stay old school and end up bringing dual lightning claws rather than, well, hammer and shield, or, you know, maybe make them blasty. Oh, I don't see that as frequently. I think the last time I actually saw Terminators on the board that wasn't one of my standard opponents, it was just a Death Star unit, and that didn't work out too well on my favor because, you know, I just rolled up the center and there was nothing I could do about it. Probably one of the reasons why I've been trying to play around with lists that are a lot more flexible. But part of that flexibility is I'm struggling with a bit of redundancy. Genestealers in the aforementioned list, see Day 5 Video B. I believe that was the video. Link in the description. Well, they're kind of my all-around try and end up chewing something elite and try not to get shot. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to run them. At this point, I'm just taking them as a base squad, which suits me just fine. Still, yeah, I'm not expecting much out of this squad. Plus side, altogether that makes 3 troop choices I end up having painted. By the end of this, I should have 5, and the only thing I got to do now is 5 more Termagants, 25 Hormagants, 3 Warriors, 2 Zoanthropes, finish the Moloch, do the Trigon, and then we get to the fun part. The fun part being my first attempt at magnetization on that Hive Tyrant. But that's a long time coming. I'll plan on doing him at the end as a kind of, hey, we did it. This is awesome. But, you know, maybe I should end up putting together what we got so far, because it's starting to actually feel like a playable Tyranid army. You know, minus all the nice new toys that have been released throughout the past few years. I mean, the only reason I have a Moloch and Draughr is because, I mean, look at those kits. Those not amazing? Sometimes you just gotta pick it up for the love of the model. Anyway, that's the progress we ended up doing, and that's the vlog, what's going through my mind right now as far as the unit I'm working on. And I will see you guys next time when we end up tackling Zoanthropes and Melee Warriors. Take care.